go off. So some fool shook me. Boy, you hear the judge talking to you? Said, who the hell you calling boy? And then he said the N word. Don't you hear me talking to you? This is the judge. I said, who the hell you calling? I say, you honky? You know, I'm from LA. This is back early 1970 something. And, you know, we were going out, I'll lock you up, boy. I said, you ain't locking anybody up. You got $10 jurisdiction on me for contempt. I ain't on his goddamn docket. And by the way, I'm recording this and I'm reporting it to the State Committee on the Judiciary. When he found out I was representing folks instead of on his docket, he backed down. But see, that's the kind of mess they've had. And most of these folk are too damn spineless to take them on now. Now, we had another real live idiot who had taken his place, and somebody that's decent, young, oh well, not young, but he's a brother. In fact, he used to be the part-time public defender in my courtroom for a decade or so, and he did a damn fine job. He's now the juvenile court judge, and I think he'll probably bring some justice to the mix and set something else up besides a for-profit corporate entity whose main concern is generating profits for the stockholders. And you do that by making sure you've got future business, by making sure that you jack the families up. So instead of stopping juvenile crime, you encourage it. But you see, that's too much like right. So now maybe we'll do something. And we had somebody in here, a woman named Amy Wyrick, that we call the Were Witch, and Harvard, Yale, Stanford, etc. law reviews, the state Supreme Court, and other foundations have long declared her to be the most corrupt district attorney in the United States. Over the last 20 years, she personally has more findings of prosecutorial misconduct, not against her staff, but against her, than any other DA's office has collectively in the United States. She's a crook. And she was in, and was there going to be justice for anybody? No. See, that kind of thing needs to be stopped. And it was infecting the mayor's office. And that needed to stop. No, there was a fine gentleman named Dr. W.W. Harrington who was elected to 5 terms. And as a matter of fact, at one time I did some representation of him before he became mayor and before I became judge. That's another question. But when he got elected the first time in 1991, another judge, James Swearingen, and myself, we got called over to the election commission under a provision of Tennessee law that says a circuit court judge or a chancellor can act as an official election witness. And we got over there. They were trying to say that Doc, that's what we called him, lost by 96 votes. So they were saying that this DVD or CD that had the electronic record of the election results had been lost, but it had been carefully recorded. The janitor came home and said, "You gentlemen looking for a little small silver record-like thing?" I said, "Yes, sir." "Yeah, it's over there in that desk on the left, second drawer down." I said, "Well, who put it in there?" And he identified them. So Judge Swearingen and I had our bailiffs over there in uniform, said, bring those identified individuals over here. Said, now look, you claim you don't know where these are, but let's just say a little bird says that you got seen putting them in, shall we say, that desk on the left, second drawer down. And if somebody were to go over there and find it, Judge Swearingen and I are disposed to put a $250,000 bond on each of you.
Wow.
Now, if you want to get sudden recollection of where it's put, oh, yeah, it just came to me. That's it. That's where it is. And they went over and Doc won by 124 votes.
Wow. Wow.
And the city was getting ready to riot if he hadn't run. So it is what it is. Doc was an unusual guy, 6'7", and he had been former undefeated heavyweight champion, Golden Gloves boxing champion. And he tells this story about how he got his PhD. He was on his way to his first professional fight. He thought about it, and he said, well, I think I'll get this PhD and, one of those academic robes rather than a big belt. And he's a great guy. Every now and then I have a conversation with him. Now, Doc was an interesting mayor. He had a temper, boy, and he was famous for grabbing people by the collar and bam, didn't you hear what I got through telling you?
That is funny. Another thing, at least here in Maryland, judges that I've seen that are placed on the bench, they've been former ambulance chasers. What do you think about that?
I don't like it. I don't like it. If you want to be a judge, you need to be called, just like preachers. How did you know? I got called to the pulpit. Yes, I did. One morning I was drinking a cup of coffee. Well, all of a sudden, there was this light that was in the upper left-hand corner of my kitchen as you was looking off. Yes, it was. So you need to be called. People, I ran for judge when people asked me to. See, in other words, you get a reputation over the decades of delivering justice. People want you to administer justice. Too many of the people who want to run for judge, I always wanted to be a judge. Since when? Since I've been in the 4th grade. How the hell you want to be a judge and you don't know what it means? Have you ever paid a mortgage, car note, got any kids, anything like that? What do you